Madeline, on God, no cap.
Now, we know that Riz is Gen...
I've been hearing that no cap, and I
I've
don't know
heard
exactly what it means.
I don't either. I've heard that before.
I'm Del from the band Pullback.
I'm Jake the Snake. I was drummer for Detroit punk rocker Tommy Trav 5 years.
And he's a Polak.
I'm Brown.
Stop stealing from Walmart self-checkout. The Walmart has these new cameras right above the cashiers. One thing goes wrong and your face pops up on these screens. The slightest hand movement that looks like you're stealing, that camera catches it and then it puts it on the screen, and then it will replay your video back of when you're trying to steal something, like if you didn't scan it.
Lately, the internet's been swarming with questions regarding today's youngest generation.
Is Gen Alpha doomed?
And they're
going to be worse than Gen Zs, guaranteed. And that they call them Gen Alpha, which Alpha to me is like a strong, I don't know, male figure, sort of, alpha man, the feminists will call them and shit. Calling them Gen Alpha, I haven't seen none of this shit yet, but it seems like they're going to be worse than Gen Zs, because you got like late millennials and late Gen Alpha, I'm getting mixed up, late Gen Zs, and
No, it would be early Gen Zs.
Early Gen Zs and late millennials,
yeah,
are having these kids.
in-class behavior.
I've had a student throw chairs at me and shoes because I asked them to get their math book out, but they didn't want to.
That's right.
They didn't want to get their math book out, and they threw shoes at her. See?
Oh, let's listen again.
Student throw chairs at me.
Chairs.
Holy shit. Man, it's the fucking parents' fault.
Yeah, but you gotta see, these teachers are millennials, so who do you believe? The kid could have just gave her a dirty look, and she's like, I had chairs thrown at me, and I'm like just dying over here. This is too dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen that shit before. Yeah, you're right. Oh man, what a world, dude.
Because I asked them to get their math book out, but they didn't want to.
That's right. Gen Alpha, along with their older cohort, Gen Z, aren't currently on the best of terms with the education system.
Bro, imagine going to school, bro. I mean, I went for a few years, but like, that shit was trash.
And from severe...
The kid was like 6.
Good strap. You could tell he was raised right, Well,
the thing is you don't even need, like, what are you going to learn in school that you can't ask Chat GPT?
Yeah.
Why are you going to sit there for fucking 8 hours with some millennial teacher that's going to cry about her gender? And no, not even that. You go to school for 8 hours and they bring in guys dressed like girls to talk to you about sex. You're 5. It's like, fuck that. I wouldn't want to go to school.
No.
I already didn't want to go to school. Imagine if they had guys coming in fucking you all the time.
Well, like that one teacher, there was some guy, and he got tits, and he was upset because the students didn't make any comments on his tits that he just got. First of all, that's fucking sick, asking fucking middle school kids to comment on your tits.
I don't know. I wish some of my teachers would have asked me.
Well, they were probably hot.
Yeah.
This was a guy that he said he was trans, but it looked just like a guy with a fucking wig on. Jesus Christ.
Plus, he was fat as fuck.
I know.
So it's like,
who's going to look at you?
well, not only that, but like, how do you, it just looks like a fat guy with fat guy tits.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been growing my B cups out. Taking this, like,
they got to be like fucking Z cups, man, as big as he was.
Gaps.
These kids, they can't even answer questions about themselves.
When I tell you that these
because you're asking them about their dick and shit. You fucking weirdo.
cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend. I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious.
He's gay as fuck.
Yeah, how are you going to go into class and then,
Yeah. Talk about
To a
being
dangerous
serious.
lack of discipline.
I'm serious.
pay attention. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't do that.
What's gonna happen?
I've had enough of this. This punishment stuff is going to stop.
You're not gonna tell.
Oh, that kid's fuck.
Oh, man.
That kid just seems like he's retarded.
I know.
Discipline.
What? What's gonna happen?
I've had enough
Dare
of
you?
this. This punishment stuff is going to stop.
You're not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do and not do.
I am now the Alpha.
Educators are now exiting the profession.
This punishment is gonna stop. That's why I was smack, you
Yeah.
fucker, you know?
It sounds like he's someone already. He's stop. The nerd in those early 2000s college movies.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Fucking.
Revenge of the Nerds, yeah.
At a staggering rate.
I'm tired of being goddamn disrespected every goddamn day.
But who is to blame? Teachers?
Watch me teach English grammar to students with Subway Surfers gameplay in the back.
The goddamn dumbass parents, man.
Parents?
If you are not ready to admit that there's a problem here, we cannot get anywhere near even talking about the solutions.
Or something else?
A student today accidentally called me Alexa.
First, we need to understand
These fucking kids are fucking retarded, man. Jesus. They're fucking retarded, man.
Well, all their interactions are with technology.
Yeah. Well, I think he's my great nephew. He knows more about the phone than I do. I told him he was on the phone. I told him to do it. Say, no, you're wrong. I got to do it like this, and he did. The little shit. He was fucking 3 years old. 3. I felt like a dumbass.
You've had a phone longer than he's been alive.
Yeah. He told you, no, you're wrong. Here's how to do it, and he did. I said, okay. First time I got my ass whipped by a 3-year-old. Oh, man.
Oh, shit. I wonder if this Gen Alpha, you know, because they're only interacting with technology and not other people, that they're going to wind up like that that West Virginia family we were watching earlier.
Oh, yeah, the ones that were ones that were interbreeding, yeah.
What's their names?
Oh,
Not their first, the family name.
I don't know. I forgot. They just,
Isn't it crazy they don't have maiden names?
yeah. Well, they're all there. I mean, the fathers fucking the daughters. You know, the kids are fucking their mothers. They're fucking their sisters and their cousins and shit. And man, you've seen how fucked up the people. They couldn't even talk, man.
I think that's technology might just replace relationships between people. And
Well, if they're gonna be like that, man, geez.
yeah, dude, AI doesn't even need to fucking spray us with chemicals and shit because everyone's just gonna stop breeding.
Yeah, well, they are now. There's a major problem with
Yeah.
people not having enough children. I mean, it's going on all over the world, but it's bad in the United States right now. There's a lot of these women, you know, that kind of get my education. I don't need no man. And then they get in their, you know, 50s and 60s, and then, well, and especially in their, oh, they're starting there like their 40s. Like, well, where are all the good men at? Well, when you had a chance to get one, you didn't.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to say there isn't any. The ones you want younger women and shit. They don't, you know.
Well, one good thing about that is there's not as many Gen Alpha kids as there could be.
Yeah, that's true. They're not going to be. But the one, yeah, like I said, I have seen nothing yet on these Gen Alpha kids. And so far, man, I want to slap the piss out of them, man. You know, they ought to update the laws, you know, where you can't punch them, but you can slap at them and backhand them and, you know, grab something and whip their ass with it, you know. There needs to be some kind of corporal punishment because they fear nothing.
Right. Well,
They
that's
fear
like that
nothing.
little kid that was like, what are you going to do about it or whatever with the iPad that
Yeah.
was earlier. It's like, if you slap the shit out of that kid, that ain't going to happen again.
No. No, well,
Yeah, I was so afraid to act out. Like, just an angry look on my dad's face had me, like, turning white in fear, you know?
you know what I had happen in the 50s? One of the neighbor ladies, I did something, I don't know what I did. She got mad, and I said some really nasty shit to her. She fucking grabbed me and slapped me across the face, grabbed me by the back of my head, and took me home to my mother. And she slapped the piss out of me. But the neighbors, like, can you imagine how that would go over these days?
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
There'd be cops involved, people going to jail. AI robots fucking killing them for fucking breaking the law.
You have respect, and if you didn't have respect, man, you know, you got it after a while, you know, because you didn't get away with it.
Yeah.
You were punished. Yeah. Plus, you got your ass beat. And they took away when they stopped when they started limiting the way you can discipline your child some years back. That's when all this shit started, you know, because the parents lost the right to discipline their kids the proper way. And this, like I said before, I've told you before, and this is a result of it, man. And it's going to continue to get worse.
I think it's going to change in, like, California. You always just threaten to chop off their dick if they...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It ain't mine.
No, but you'd be like, if you're bad, I'm taking you to get your sex change. You know?
Yeah.
Don't.
Or like a while back, people say you did good on your report card. We're going to McDonald's every Friday or something. No, well, if you do good, you know, then hey, I'll take you to get your dick topped off, and first we'll do your balls, and then we'll do your dick, and then you can get tits, you know, and that's how they're going to reward them. Fucking insane.
Today accidentally called me Alexa.
First, we need to understand how we got this far. Generations, a group of people that come to define an era in time, such as the post-war baby boom or the rise of the millennium. As it stood, Gen Z was the youngest demographic, born after 1997. Zalphas, though highly debated, stand somewhere between 2009 and 2010 babies. Then came Gen Alpha, a group of tykes born after 2012. And like all new generations...
So that the oldest they'd be is like 12 years old. Right?
Yeah.
They mark a shift. The young are now old.
What are your thoughts on millennials?
I mean, it's pretty fire. I wish I could go back and meet some of my ancestors.
The trendy now
My ancestors.
All new generations, they mark a shift. The young are now old.
What are your thoughts on millennials?
I mean, it's pretty fire. I wish I could go back and meet some of my ancestors.
The trendy now played out.
You have a pops.
Word used to be, hey, it's pretty cool. Now it's, hey, it's pretty fire.
Yeah.
Totally the opposite.
Fire or lit. Oh, yeah, it is opposite. Yeah.
Completely, yeah.
It on the back of your phone, you should take it off and throw it away or burn it, because pop sockets are the skinny jeans of phone accessories.
And the slang? Now incomprehensible compared to the groovies and slay of yesteryear.
What is a
Be
yacht?
so for real with it.
What? What on earth
I'm
is
sorry,
yacht?
what?
And likely for good reason.
It stands for girl, your booty thick.
But as we struggle to understand the rituals and practices of these tiny...
I didn't even like most of the words of my generation.
No.
Like, I'm trying to think of some that
well,
were...
look how the fucking Gen Zs, you know, how they talk and shit. I mean, this is going to get worse. You're not going to be able to
But
understand.
even my generation was pretty bad with some of the... I can't remember, like swag.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I hated that, man. That was a word for a while. It just sounds so fucking stupid, you know? And like when kids adopt a new word, they have to say it all the time.
Oh, yeah, to be
with
cool.
the wrong... Oh! The biggest one, low key.
Oh God, I remember hearing that. I remember hearing
they'll
that.
say it in the wrong context. As low key is supposed to mean like, you know, not tell, you know,
not
secret kind of. Yeah.
Secret, yeah.
And they'll be like, man, I'm low key, like gonna go to this concert tonight. Like it's like the fuck. Hey, low key, give me some money. It's like you're not even using it right, and it sounds stupid.
No.
They use it in every single fucking sentence. And then we were dating a girl, and like. You're out of high school, you're in your mid-20s, and she wants to use what the slang the kids in high school are using. It's like, I feel like I'm with a fuck. I've broken up with girls over that shit. Like, they use that fucking link. It's like, You're not fucking 14.
Yeah.
And I didn't even like it when I was 14, dating a girl and she starts using this stupid new fucking word like swag or some shit.
That's like the woke people. They got to change everything around. You know, this means this. You have to say this like I want it. You know,
Well, it's not exactly like that because every generation has this, you know, to their new words like fucking.
Oh, yeah.
You guys had like what, groovy?
I hated that word. I never used that word. I hated that fucking word.
What words
groovy.
did you have though?
I always said like cool. You know, I mean that's one thing I always said. You know,
Yeah, but that wasn't new for your generation, was it?
No. I mean it's just.
But what was like specific for your generation?
Groovy. The word groovy was the main thing for the
boomers.
For the boomers to say cool or not. Yeah, that's groovy. I never said it. You know, a lot of people like those San Francisco flower power hippies. Like they're the ones that kind of said that.
My dad said a big word back then was bitchin'.
Bitchin'?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I used to say that all the time. I always said that though.
Really?
Yeah.
No, like bitchin' isn't cool.
Oh, no, I never heard that.
Really?
I'm trying to think of another one. There's another one. Damn it. Oh, dude, if I ever think of it, can't think of it right now. Yeah, there was another word. Like when in the 60s and then like when I was in school, high school and shit, like, oh man, that's bad. Bad meant good. You know, bad meant cool.
Mm-hmm,
You know, they'd say something was bad. But I'm trying to think of some other.
Like we said sick.
Oh.
You know, like that's sick.
To meaning it's cool or
yeah.
Good? Okay. Never heard it used that way.
Or that goes hard. You never heard that?
No.
Like we'd hear a really heavy song and shit, and it's like, oh shit, that goes hard. You never heard? I didn't think that one was weird.
That would sound like a sexual remark, man. Yeah, that goes hard, man. You go hard.
I wonder if I've ever said that around any boomers before, and they're like, "Is this motherfucker getting an erection?"
Yeah. That's what I would think. If I remember one of them words later, geez, there was some, man. And there were some words like a couple of
far out. My dad said that was a big one.
That was in the 50s too. They were saying far out. In the 60s too. They said far out. I can't think of it. I know. If some like the greaser types and some of the black people would say something was, oh man, that's plush. That's plush as a dog. Man.
Really?
Yeah, I mean meaning cool. Yeah, I remember the word plush was used.
I never heard that one.
Yeah. I'll think of some more. I can't, it's just, you kind of put me on the spot. I just can't right now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with your generation, there's so many movies about your generation where they use the lingo and have the cars and all that stuff. There's no movies about my generation, you know.
Well, the ones that are they probably are, but they're probably pitiful.
Yeah. Just a bunch of teenagers sitting around on MySpace and cutting themselves, you know.
That chick that I went out with when I moved in here.
Yeah.
She did that shit, man. She went out in front of Wyandotte Hospital and cut her arm. They locked her up. They locked her up in the nut ward. This was like, we stayed in contact after I didn't want to see her no more, you know. And we stayed in contact. And every once in a while she'd come over, you know, just bullshit and stuff. Call me once in a while. Man, but yeah, she said they locked her up in the nut ward, man.
Yeah. Well, that was the cool thing to do when I was in middle school, is cut yourself. You know how hard it is to find a girl that like has that emo look that doesn't have scars all over her arms and legs? It's fucking disgusting. It is. Who the fuck wants to like? I don't. Whatever.
They go to get sexual and shit, and they got scars all over them.
Yeah.
Shit. Man,
all up and down their arms and their legs. Nah. So many girls.
Seemingly alien life forms.
Mad lit on God.
Mad lit on God, no cap.
Now we know that Riz is Jin.
I've been hearing that no cap, and I don't know exactly what it means.
I don't either. I've heard that before. Alpha.
No, oh no, I think that means like it's really fucking good. Like there's no cap on it. You get
okay,
like the,
okay, yeah, it can go like it can no limitations.
yeah.
Mad lit on God.
Mad lit on God, no cap.
Now, we know that Riz is Gen Z for someone who has charisma.
Charisma. The Rizzler is the standard bearer of Riz.
It's the most charismatic person that you know.
You gotta watch it like that so you'll be able to understand people.
Yeah.
You have to watch stuff like this. You're not gonna. They'll talk. They can say all kinds. You have no clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't know none of this shit except a couple of things here and there, but.
Gen Alpha, and in turn, some of Gen Z, have been struggling to meet the expectations so easily succeeded by previous generations.
Oh my god, your year starts with 19, you're so old. Spell necessary. Shut up!
Yep, according to the current and former educators sounding the alarm bells across social media, the kids most definitely are not all right. In fact, it seems the very fundamentals of learning that were once so easily molded into elastic young minds just aren't sticking for these days.
Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are... I'ma just say this.
I thought he heard his own voice. It's like, wait.
I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
And from reading comprehension,
I could ask them, who's the main character of your story? The story of 4-paragraph story we just read. Can't tell you. They don't know. They don't know. It took us
Short attention span.
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
That's what they call TikTok brain.
To get through how to answer a question in a complete sentence.
to basic information.
Like, I just had a session today where I asked a student, like, what their date of birth was. The student had no idea when their birthday was, did not know what year they were born.
What used to be considered
Oh,
common knowledge
shit.
for students isn't so automatic for kids and teens today.
First thing that really shocked me was the fact that I had to tell so many students to write their name on their paper. Like, and then when they did, they would only write their first name.
Yeah, we used to have to write our name, the date, you know, and all that.
No last name, no date, no period they were in, none of that.
But whether you're from Gen X, Y, Z, or A, one thing that should be common knowledge among all of us is that region-locked shows on streaming services are annoying. If you've ever been told that Friends is on Netflix, only to search for it and come up with nothing but a suggestion to watch Seinfeld instead, you're not being lied to. Friends is on Netflix, just not your Netflix. But don't worry, all you have to do is sign up with our friends at today's sponsor.
Yeah.
In Canada, where we have the CB Shark, which is where you choose your internet provider, an unidentifiable Surfshark user. So, if you're looking to enjoy the internet without the... Now, let's get back to the big issue. This brings us to the first subject of who is to blame, the teachers. Are they just as responsible as their students for their ignorance? Well, according to educators themselves, no, they aren't. After all, they're just working with what they're given, which currently happens to be student bodies with years of accumulated gaps in knowledge. And while teachers have adapted to their students' skill sets by lowering their expectations and adjusting,
I don't know, they don't even teach civics anymore. They teach nothing about the government, how the government works.
Well, they teach you it's racist.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. They teach all the good shit, right?
Yeah,
You know, yeah, you're a victim. Yeah, all these people are racist and all these men are misogynist, you know? And they don't teach you, like, you know, even the First Amendment, what your rights are, you know? They don't teach anything about the amendments, nothing about how the government works. That was necessary when I was in school. That was an absolute thing you had to take.
Oh, see, I learned that at home, not at school.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
for assignments.
We are absolutely still writing essays or trying to. It's just heavily modified because they can't do it.
There's no simple fix to this problem or the vicious cycle it's created. See, educators might spend an entire school year addressing the gaps in their classroom from previous years, only for the school system to allow these children to advance to the next grade, despite being completely unprepared.
They just keep passing them on, 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 passing them on. I can put as many zeros in this grade book as I want to. They're gonna move that child to the 8th grade next year.
And the biggest hurdle teachers are now facing? Well, that would be the seemingly growing number of students that can't read.
Y'all, the literacy rates right now are insane. Kids aren't reading.
And then all these kids had 2 years off of school because of COVID.
Yeah.
Where they were just sitting on an iPad for 2 years,
Yeah.
not having to hang out with friends or anything.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
They're
in a
not
way,
recognizing that.
Yeah, in a way, it's not their fault. You know, in a small way, but
And then not only that, but like well, I mean, that's 2 years at a very developed 2 years are very important for development.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if those 2 years, they just sat inside and stared at an iPod or iPad.
Yeah, and their phones. Yeah, that's all they did.
Then that's those 2 years are so crucial when you're a kid.
And then a lot of parents don't want to interact and play.
They're on their phones.
You know,
their parents are millennials.
Yeah,
They're just on their phones.
Right. And you got to do like my grandnephew. You know, I bought him I had this like a couple of Halloween axes, you know, and I took they're plastic, you know, but they look cool as hell. They got a skull on them and shit, and I liked them. But I took and made a smaller handle for him, and I gave him a couple plastic swords. I taught him how to sword fight, you know, and I gave him a shield and showed him how to use the shield. They need physical play like that, man. You just can't be in a computer world all the time, or you know, tech world all the time. You got like that's why I'm proud of my 15-year-old grandson. He plays sports. He's been on 2 or 3 different sports at school. You know, he goes out with his friends. They do shit, you know, and a lot of these kids just sit in the fucking bedroom with their fucking iPads.
Yeah, and then your blood isn't fucking circulating through your brain and shit, and you're not interacting with people. So it's like you're just.
I got poor social skills. You know?
That's even a problem with my generation.
And then the parents for not disciplining them for talking back, you know. They gotta be disciplined. You know, fucking kid talks back to me, smack.
Yeah.
You know, my grandson pulled that shit in the store one time. I told him stop doing it, smack. He shut the fuck up, quit screaming. Because if he didn't, I was gonna do it again. Harder. You know, he cried, but he knew I meant it, and he didn't fucking do it no more. You know? That's what these motherfuckers need. They need the fucking shit slap. I keep saying it over and over in a lot of our videos. They need the fucking shit slapped out of them, man. You slap the shit on them a few times, they're going to get in line, they're going to do what they're told because they know they're going to get the shit slapped on them. These motherfuckers they didn't do nothing. They're not going to do anything. And if they do, I'll call the police and say they're child abusing me. You know? And that's the attitude.
You sound like an abusive fuck.
I'm fair, but I'm firm. No, I don't like them kids anyway, but some. I mean, that come out right. Should have said some little kid, you know, snotty mouth little fuckers.
By the way, if you want Jake to babysit your children, we have a link below.
Yeah.
Beat the fuck out of it. Oh, hi, Mr. and Mrs. whoever the fuck. Yeah, I'll be glad to watch your kid for 4 hours. You shut the door.
Then a
You
week
little fuck! I'm gonna get you.
Then a week later, I don't know what's the matter with little Johnny. He's behaving so
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it actually might. That's what you should do. For extra money, babysit.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Until the parents come and see all this crazy shit on your wall. What the fuck?
Skulls everywhere, animal skulls everywhere, and fucking gargoyles and dinosaurs and scary wooden masks and stuff. Yeah, kids. I know. Sometimes people are scared to come in here.
They're not recognizing letter sounds. This is going to go much deeper than we think it's going to go.
And she's right. When it comes to reading issues, Well, it turns out having to wait for the movie is just the tip of the iceberg. That's because illiteracy is the gateway to a host of other problems, including further cognitive issues, a heightened risk of dropping out of school, and criminal activity. According to
no shit, you're gonna drop out of school if you can't read.
Yeah.
Like
2012 report and the U.S. Department of Justice. But when it comes to the supposed reading struggles of today's students, perhaps this isn't a problem with teachers. Enter the second subject of who is to blame, the school curriculum. See, for decades, various schools across the American education system have been working with theories for teaching reading that have already been debunked by cognitive scientists. One of these theories is the 3 cueing system, which involves students using context clues when they come across an unfamiliar word, like the drawing it might appear under in a book.
What makes you good readers?
Because I look at the pictures and I read it.
Another approach is the whole word.
You're teaching them to look at the pictures instead of the words. That's fucked up, man.
You don't need to be a fucking cognitive scientist to realize that that's gonna worsen the problem.
Regular people. I don't know about that, but you know what I'm saying? We're just like regular people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a scientist to know that that's a bad idea.
Jesus, man, no wonder these. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into this. Yeah, I can't wait to hear more.
System, which relies on repeatedly exposing children to words until they know them by memory.
From what I can see from my classrooms and my experience with my band kids is that they are learning words by sight. They're learning and memorizing what those words are.
If they're not actually recognizing the alphabet that makes up the word, they're just looking at the structure of the word and what it looks like, and that's what they're going off of.
Yeah.
And if you get a different...
They don't know the double O is ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
They just see good and say, oh, I see that like drawing almost.
Yeah, that's what they see it as, a drawing and not as an alphabet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is scary, man. I keep saying it's scary tonight, but it is.
And this works until they come across words that they haven't seen before.
Adagio, not a super long word, not a really complicated combination of letters, but
I'm not gonna lie, I never heard that word before.
I haven't either, to be honest with you.
Because the child had never seen that word before.
Probably a new word a woke person made up.
Yeah, it might be a gender.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's 72 of them, genders.
In their life. They had no concept of what it looked like. They could not have it memorized in their banks already. And so when they would try to reproduce it and they could not phonetically spell it out, or they could not reproduce those letters in the correct order by any measure of degree of accuracy, they were literally making up shapes, or making up words, or making up symbols, or writing symbols that weren't even letters.
During this time.
Oh yeah, it's the parents and the fucking teachers, man.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
As a parent, you're completely responsible.
Right.
You know? As a teacher, you're kind of responsible, you know?
Well, that's like in Canada where there's, you know, these fucking drag queens are going into the, you know, kindergarten or first grade classes, and they're teaching them all this transgender bullshit. The parents are actually, the group of parents got pissed about it, and they went to the fucking school, and they're addressing it, you know. But at least somebody's standing up to it, you know, and trying to do the right thing.
Yeah,
man.
you know, during that, the cross-dresser stories or whatever, that's when they should have been learning the alphabet.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly, yes, yes. Oh, instead of teaching, oh, if you feel like you're a boy today, then you're a girl inside, you know. Fuck all that shit. Get to the fucking root of learning, man. That's what they're in school for, to learn how to function in society, how to read, how to do math, you know?
Tried and tested systems like phonics, aka good old-fashioned sounding words.
Did you add phonics when you were a kid?
Not phonics. No, we didn't have what they call phonics. We had like English class, you know, you learn how
No, phonics is like games for kids that are like learning games.
No, we didn't have no learning games. No, I thought it was just another way of teaching. Oh yeah, because I remember that thing back then, Hooked on Phonics.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we never had what they called phonics in school, but you learn how to read, write. I mean, I got an A in English class on diagramming sentences. You know, like you draw a line, and then like the noun would be here, the verb would be here, and then there'd be other lines going like down this way, down that way. Then your adjectives would go here. You had to completely like what they call diagramming a sentence. I mean, one sentence would be diagramming would be this fucking long, and I was like really good at that.
Holy
you know?
shit.
And yeah, I got A's in that shit. But then shit I didn't like, I didn't like. They took our history geography class. These Catholic schools, man, they took our history and geography class, combined it into one class, and it was only 45 minutes long. And then we had a religion class that was an hour and a half long, plus going to church for a half hour, 45 minutes before school every day. So, and I loved ancient history, man. I loved ancient history, and even before I got an A on a project in history class, I wrote the teacher, it was a nun, I wrote a teacher a letter in the Phoenician alphabet, and she had to go decipher it to actually, when I said I got an A on it. And now stuff like that I like, stuff I didn't like. I got a D in religion class,
You got graded in religion class?
Yeah, oh yeah. I got a D in religion. I mean, after a while, dude, you can only, there's only so much, man, I mean, first of all, you get that shit put in your head before class. Half hour, 45 minutes. And then you go to class, you do a couple classes, and then you got to sit through an hour and a half of religion again, man. And I get bored after 10, 15 minutes, The other classes, like the ancient history, I never got bored, man. It was just sucking me in, and I just wanted to learn more about it, but we couldn't. We'd just touch on one ancient, like the Phoenicians, we touched on that for like for like 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then boom, it was the geography part of it, and then boom, the religion class, I mean, just when you start to get really interested, you couldn't even get interested in it, and they take it away.
Yeah.
And so the shit I didn't like, I didn't do good at. The shit I liked, I did good at.
Fell to the wayside.
Now, we have over 50 years of research, including a panel conducted by the US Congress in 1999 that has proven that phonics is absolutely necessary to literacy learning.
Recently, American school boards have begun embracing phonics again. However, the after effects of the 3-cueing and whole word systems are hard to dispute, as students that were guided using these theories might be able to read, but often not very well. In fact, in 2023, it was reported that US reading and math scores amongst 13-year-olds had dropped to their lowest levels since the 1970s. But then again, a curriculum can only account for so much. And when it comes to the root cause for the extent of Gen Alpha and Gen Z struggles, well, according to educators, the call is coming from inside the house. Which brings us to the third subject of who is to blame, the parents.
For an attendance question the other day, I asked my students, what's one thing you believed as a child for far too long? Kid one goes, that my parents loved and cared for me.
Why don't y'all know that y'all kids not performing on their grade level? Why y'all don't know this?
Honestly, we have sat down in meetings where parents are crying. And who is to blame for this? Where are these kids getting this from?
We gotta do something. And I love y'all, but it can't only be the teachers doing it.
Yes, as the feedback from teachers suggest, Gen Alphas and Gen...
It starts at home, man. It starts at home. It ain't the teacher's fault, especially when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, Let them get away with everything and just give them fucking electronic shit to play with, like computers and tablets and phones and video games, They don't learn anything else, man. You got to be active with other kids, Yeah, these parents should have had the shit slapped out of them when they were kids.
These aversions to education isn't innate, it's learned.
I'm talking to parents. If you are not ready to admit that there's a problem here, we cannot get anywhere near even talking about the solutions.
The assumption goes as follows. Parents, who are working long hours to make ends meet in an inhospitable economy, have let screen time make up for their lack of presence in their children's lives. As for the cost of this limitless access to technology, well, it hasn't exactly set the youth up for success.
These iPad kids getting out of control.
Yeah.
What? What's gonna happen?
Excessive electronic use by these
that kid needs to get whooped with a stick.
Oh, yeah. I'd have done that. I'd made him go outside and take a branch off, the little branch off the tree and switch his ass with it. Make him bring his own ass whipping.
See, that's as simple. That's the solution right off the bat. That would fix the problem then and there. I mean, I remember I was playing out in the rain. My shoes got wet. And my parents told me, the next day, don't put the wet shoes on, let them dry out in the garage. I put those shoes on, went out. I got all my toys snapped over my dad's knee in front of me. He was pissed. I never did that shit again. I was scared to do anything I wasn't told.
Well, when we were kids, man, my stepdad, we had a Chinese checker set. You know what that is? It's like a weird board and it's got a star.
Oh, yeah, it's like a diamond shape.
Yeah, it's all marbles. There's all marbles. Well, we wouldn't pick up on the marbles. He stepped on the marbles like 2 or 3 times. And the last time he stepped on it, he said, "Bring that goddamn thing over here now." Everything. So he got it. He said, "Down the basement." And at the time we had a coal furnace, I mean, that's what everybody back in when I'm below 1960, everybody had coal furnaces pretty much. And he said, "Open the door, throw it in." I told you how many times I tell you I'm sick of walking on them goddamn marbles. Now you're not going to have your Chinese checkers anymore. Throw it in.
Yep, that's the same kind of shit that happened.
I had to throw the board in. My half brother had to throw fucking marbles in.
Did the marbles burn?
No, they melted.
Oh, really?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I remember my parents, they told me to clean my room. My little brother trashed it. So I was like, I didn't trash it. I'm not going to clean it. And they'd always threaten, we're going to put everything in the attic. This time I was like, fuck that. They're not going to do it, So I was like, no, I ain't cleaning it. I didn't make the mess. Man, everything besides our mattresses was in the attic for a year until we moved.
Oh, man.
It's like...
Well, yeah, but you learned, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And these kids, their parents will not discipline them in any way. Like, the kid just said, "I dare you," and the mom just filming it. Yeah. She's not slapping them, not taking away the eye.
Thinks it's cute on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, look what he said. Yeah. That's funny.
These kids are going to be psychopaths.
I'll tell you what, when we played games on the floor after that, we didn't leave no checkers on the floor.
Exactly.
We didn't leave nothing on the floor. Everything was, I mean, when we went to put that game away, we made sure everything, if we played Monopoly, all the Monopoly pieces in there, the money was picked up, the goddamn moving pieces were all put away. We made sure, because we knew if he stepped on something that Monopoly said, it's going in the fucking furnace.
Yeah, and you need to learn young that there is physical consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's what creates psychopaths that run around. They feel like killing someone, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
They feel like raping someone, they're going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because that's how they feel at the moment, and they don't realize there's consequences.
Well, they're taught how to, especially a lot of these women with these woke ideas, they're teaching especially the boys, they're teaching them to act in the moment, to go off of their feelings.
Yeah, well, that's what you're told in school, too.
Oh, man. That's wrong. That's wrong. Man, I'll tell you, these people would not have survived in my day, man.
Oh, yeah, they would have been shot fucking instantly, Start freaking out like that, and you'd put in a mental hospital at least.
If you told something to your parents, you'd have got the shit slapped out of you. They would have made you do fucking clean. You'd have to clean the kitchen tables every day, clean the floor, mop the floor in the kitchen, make you go sweep the fucking porch outside. I mean, you had to do that.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't even wind up like that. I'm saying, if you transfer someone like that grew up like this, just back in time, they'd be locked up instantly.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you didn't dare talk back to your parents, man. You got the shit slapped out of you, man. I remember you getting beat with a razor strap. There's a razor in these things that sharpen these straight razors. And it's one's coarse leather and the other one's a fine leather. And you put the edge on it with the coarse leather and then you refine it with I got beat with them motherfuckers before, man. That hurts. After a couple times, I ain't doing that shit no more.
Yeah.
It fucking hurts.
iPad kids has altered their development, stunting their social skills and academic performance according to studies.
Instead, unrestricted time online has created students that can't operate professionally in a classroom environment.
Miss Keller, you've been working on your mewing?
What?
Your mewing?
The problem that I have with mewing in the classroom and at school.
Wait, what the fuck is mewing?
I have no clue.
They'll probably explain it.
Kids are using it as a way to be disrespectful to their teachers without their teachers understanding what it is they're doing.
And to the fascination, dismay, and hope.
You're gonna hide fucking with your teacher, calling their names and shit and saying fuck you in the different ways. And the teacher's not gonna know what you're talking about.
Of older generations seem disconnected from IRL learning.
A student today accidentally called me Alexa.
After all, according to teachers, it's not that these kids aren't capable, it's that they don't care to be.
They don't care. You know, they have their phones. It fixes things for them. Everybody around them is in the same spot, so they don't understand how behind they are. If everybody around you is stuck in it, you don't know that you're stuck in it.
And it turns out academics, well, they just don't provide the same dopamine rush as watching a 6-second video, hitting a like button, or getting a follow back. And while teachers have done their best to capture their students' low attention spans through some innovative approaches.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Thank you. Look at me, look at me.
You look good. Sometimes I do like memes on my slides to like get their attention.
Even using a popular TikTok tactic that people have dubbed as overstimulation videos or sludge content targeted towards those with dopamine receptors burnt to a crisp.
Watch me teach English grammar to students with Subway Surfers gameplay in the background. Today the students weren't on their phone.
They have to play that in the background just so the kids can pay attention.
That's fucking sad.
See, I think that's bad.
No, that's wrong.
You need to take
that away.
Yeah, take that away and take the shit at home away too.
Yeah, they get that shit at home enough. You don't need to bring it to school just to make them learn.
You can't cater to their thing that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, they're catering to a problem. Yeah, because they're giving into a problem that should be fixed, but they're adding to it now.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to combine the both.
Right.
You know, get rid of that shit and then go to regular reading and writing and show them how to pronounce the words.
Yeah, they're trying to fix the symptom instead of the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what they're doing.
Distracted. They were listening to me and watching the screen. We tried Minecraft parkour and slime making videos, but Subway Surfers came out on top.
Other educators seem to have lost hope. It's going to get worse, isn't it?
How are they going to concentrate? You know?
Well, that's the thing. They're saying that's the only way they can concentrate.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. And they need to break that. They need to get rid of that, man.
Yeah.
And the right way is to teach them how to read, what the letters are, how they sound. You know, I mean, I learned that shit in first fucking grade, kindergarten. I learned that shit, man.
And then here's another thing. You think, okay, they might be able to get through school doing that, but then how are they going to work a job and be watching, 5 screens as they're doing whatever?
They can't.
But, AIs, they're not going to have jobs because of AI.
They're not prepared to go out in the real world, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're living in a fantasy world, basically. And then these people are promoting, the teachers are promoting it, too. I know they're at their wits' end and trying to get them to learn, but like I said, the basic shit. Kindergarten, first grade, teach them how to use the alphabet, what these words sound like, what the alphabet sounds like, make them spell it out, and that's how you learn. I won spelling contest in school too.
An alleged teacher recently asked in a now viral post on the teachers subreddit, expanding on the reasons for their pessimism, they explained they teach 9 to 12 ELA, and despite allowing students to boost their grades with revisions, offering open book tests, and even explicitly telling them what's important to write down, the kids have no interest in their education. I became a teacher to help build resiliency in our kids and show them how to be problem solvers and assets to our community at large, the user wrote. But between the apathy, the lack of structure at home, and the I'm gonna be my child's best friend play, it becomes extra challenging.
That's such a... I've had a few friends that their parent, they said, my parent's more like a friend,
Yeah.
They're all dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, you might care about your kid's emotion, but they're not going to live to 25.
I know, like me, I didn't see my daughter. My ex got well, I don't like even call her my ex. I don't like her, but she kept me from my daughter for 9 years, and then, so the first, when I started seeing her the first time, like she spent the weekend, I was like her buddy, and then the first time I had to discipline her and be dad, she didn't like it, because she was just used to me kind of like being her friend. So I had changed the way I was around her after that. She had to respect me as dad.
Yeah, well, the thing is, did you still talk to her after that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, that's where it went wrong with my dad. Because his daughter, he didn't, when she was like 12 or something, she mouthed off to him, so he slapped her.
Yeah.
Didn't get to see her for like 15 years or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah. They pressed charges on him or something and all this stuff.
That's crazy, man.
Every kid tells me they don't go to bed until 1 a.m., but that they're in bed by 9. And more than half show up in their pajamas, wrapped in fleece blankets, clutching their Starbucks Stanley, but leaving everything but their uncharged laptops at home. Is this going to be our new normal?
Whoa.
Naturally, testimonies from educators like that.
That's fucked up.
If you would have brought a blanket to school when I was a kid, they would...
Or come to school in your pajamas. And leave all your school shit at home. And bring all your bullshit. I'm surprised they didn't bring the video games to class. Man, yeah, it's both the parents and the educational system.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of these woke fucks in charge of shit, trying all this horse shit that don't work. Stick to the basics. It's been that way for years. It works. It works. How do you think you get smart people, Well, can you imagine these motherfuckers getting to college? I don't think they'll even be able to get out of high school, man.
Have sparked concern online about parenting.
The teacher said the one thing that all the kids have in common is that they don't care. If this is true, is this not the biggest problem we're facing as a culture? Our kids don't care about life? Should we not stop everything we're doing and figure out how to take better care of our kids?
But apathy is one issue. Disrespect is another.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying too. These millennial teachers, the trauma of having to deal with something, that doesn't fucking help either.
No.
You need to be able to like stand up and slap the fucking kid and be like, I'm gonna take control of this fucking situation and you're gonna fucking listen to me. And if not, you're gonna be fucking sorry.
Yeah, well,
not, I'm the victim when you're in a fucking classroom of 9-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, like when I was in high school, early high school, I mean, you did shit when you're supposed to, man. You get whacked across the knuckles with a fucking ruler. The drafting teacher used to hit people with a T. You know what a T-square is?
Yeah. I love drafting class.
Well, I had a drafting class, and drafting, we had him his first year out of college. He was a little fucker, too. He was funny, but he wasn't really funny, but I thought he was funny. But yeah, he used to take that T-square and whack people in that T-square if you fucking did shit. He went to hit me one time and told me, "You're not hitting me." He made me go to the principal's office. Told him, "You're not hitting me with that fucking thing."
Yeah, I got vocational for CAD because you had to do one. They had I can't remember if it was still semesters, but they switched it when I was in high school from semesters to trimesters. But fucking, you had to do one semester or trimester of drafting, and then you got on the computer to do computer-aided drafting.
Okay.
I loved drafting class. That was like something I was really into that. And then we went on the computers, and I really liked it. But then just sitting at a computer for so long drives me fucking nuts. Like I was just
And the thing is, I didn't do that good in drafting class. I don't know. I didn't like it, that much. But I saw that my drafting teacher, when I had my house in Riverview, there was a big baseball diamond back when there was like 4 baseball diamonds for the little league teams, and he was a coach on one of the teams. I went out there. His name was Don Ziemba, and I said, "I need to shake your hand." He said, "What for?" I said, "You know something? I use every bit of what you taught me. I use on my job today." I knew when I hired in where I worked at, I knew how to read blueprints, and I had to work with the engineering department a lot of times, developing things and designs for new products and stuff, and I was able to draw stuff. And then somebody over in the engineering department one time, I was like on a blueprint, like they'll show a view and you pull that view towards this way, and the side view, you pull it towards this, and one of the guys in the fucking engineering department, the new guy, decided he's going to change the way you look at the drawings. So they sent me some shit. I made it and it was all wrong. And I said, I went by the view. Well, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean? I said, you're supposed to take that view and pull it towards you. Oh, well, that's what this line is for. That means you can't do that. I said, well, who in the hell told us that? He completely changed the way you read a blueprint, and then he expects me to know something I've never been told. But he started making them right. I think somebody got in his ass about that. Yeah, it took something getting fucked up, though, for, to get that changed. But he just come in automatically and going to change the way the blueprints are. But
How old were you when you seen your old drafting teacher after you bought your house?
I was about 42.
Holy shit, so that's like 30 years later.
Yeah. So he wasn't much older than me in school. He was like in his early 20s,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Another drawback of limitless screen time: kids that can't regulate their emotions, and paired with parents who seemingly don't see the issue. Well, it's a dynamic the internet can't help speculating on.
Here's what I think. I think the millennials raising this generation, who were raised by boomers and Gen X themselves, are trying to overcorrect the way they were raised. They were probably very disciplined and hated it and vowed to never do the same thing to their own kids. It feels like a lot of these parents are trying to find an easy way out of parenting, so they handed their kids iPads to make them shut up, never implemented any rules or guidance because they didn't know how, and blamed their socially inept...
Well, there's people that give their kids food and candy to shut them up, These people are using, electronics to shut them up.
See, when I was, acting out, I got threatened like hard. There was no like reward to get me to shut up. It was like, you better shut up or something's bad's gonna happen.
Same with me, man. I mean, you knew you get your ass beat for something one time, you're not gonna do it again, man.
Yeah, all my mom had to say was, "I'll tell your father," and I fucking stopped.
Now these kids nowadays fear nothing.
Respectful behavior on teachers not understanding.
And who does that leave to discipline Gen Alpha and Gen Z? Teachers.
They're not going to hire you. They're not going to hire you because you can't listen to anybody.
You can always just go work at
No. You want to bet?
Go work at
McDonald's doesn't just hire anybody.
Yes, they
No, they don't.
They hire anyone.
When they go apply for McDonald's, because that's the only job they can get, they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Oh yeah.
McDonald's has standards that you have to meet. If you can't even make it through 6th grade, they're not going to hire you at McDonald's.
And unfortunately, when it comes to the...
See, again, that guy, think I'm going to listen to him if I'm a fucking idiot kid in school?
No.
You have to have someone that has a presence that you fear and respect.
Oh, yeah.
And these millennial teachers, you just don't.
I know.
So everything's just every aspect of this is fucked up to where you can't just fix one thing.
You gotta fix everything.
It's generations of fucked up people that are,
I agree,
all part of it.
Through 6th grade, they're not going to hire you at McDonald's.
And unfortunately, when it comes to the constant talking back...
Oh, it's this kid.
I've had enough of this. This punishment stuff is going to stop.
This punishment stuff is going to stop.
This punishment stuff is going to stop.
You're going to tell somebody that's in charge of you that this is going to stop. Fuck you. I'd have slapped that motherfucker right there. I'd have slapped him right in his tracks. Knocked him off his feet. I'd have backhanded him. I just wouldn't have been around. I'd have backhanded that fucker as hard as I could. I don't give a fuck if I got fired or not. Fuck him.
I would have stabbed that motherfucker in the throat.
Fuck motherfucker gonna stand there and talk to me like that.
Starts
Fuck
taking the panels off and hiding the body parts up there. Next thing in class, there's blood dripping. What's that? That was a student that said I couldn't punish him. You want to be up there too?
Mine's a bloody machete.
Yeah.
Do and not do.
I am now the Alpha.
That's not how this works. I am the teacher.
The Alpha takes priority over the teacher.
It gets retarded.
Oh man!
If I was a teacher, I'd be laughing so hard I'd shit myself.
Oh yeah! Jesus Christ! What an entitled son of a bitch!
Well, I think he's retarded.
Oh, he's got
the
to
way
be.
he talks and shit.
The Alpha takes priority over everything. Do you not know how that works?
It was it. The teacher's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know. Here, it's yours."
Telling the Alpha to sit in his seat right now.
And apathy these educators are facing on a daily basis?
Gen Z students are completely unhinged. I'm about to show you a clip from midway through a student's presentation. I can't make this up. Added a video to the slideshow. Click Epic link here.
Many have reached their breaking point.
I'm so surprised. Well, actually, I'm not
I bet they
surprised
listen to after
by
that.
the amount of support that are in the comments for that teacher. For someone to be pushed to the point of yelling like that in a professional setting, like his entire livelihood, his money, his dignity was on the line and he threw it all out the window. That means something. Either that guy is not very mentally stable, which I don't know him.
Well, he
But
cared.
from what I've seen,
I think he cared, and the frustration got to him.
Yeah.
the fact that he's in that classroom tells me that he was extremely and utterly disrespected.
However, teachers aren't just facing disrespect from their students, they're also facing rage. While most states don't track data related to assaults on teachers, since the return to
I've seen so many videos of kids attacking teachers the past like 5 years.
in-person learning in 2021, there's been numerous reports of violence against educators in the American school system. And
well, like you said earlier, they went through a couple of years of just basically doing what they wanted, at home.
Yeah.
And here's your results.
perpetrators of these attacks, they're doting students. Yep, according to claims and risk management services firm Gallagher Bassett, from September to May 2022, there's been a 5-year high in assault-related workers' compensation claims from about 2,000 schools in different regions of the U.S. We are witnessing the highest levels of frequency, severity, and complexity for these kinds of assault claims when compared to the last 4 complete school calendar years. Greg McKenna, public sector practice leader at Gallagher Bassett, told the Wall Street Journal in 2023. In fact, the circumstances have become so bad that new and old teachers alike are leaving their positions.
Teachers of all ages are quitting their job because of the behavior of Gen Alpha students.
I'm done.
You quit?
You're not going to be disrespected by anybody. I don't know who you people think you are, but you don't treat anybody like this.
And people are laughing. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't even care if I don't get paid today.
It's not funny.
I'm just a
Are you
stupid
kidding?
white lady. That's all.
They hurt my feelings.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, like how these
can you
kids can't even be they don't even have anyone to discipline them.
I was going to say, how can you respect that?
Yeah.
They have to respect you. And getting respect through fear is one of the ways. They got to fear you to some degree. I can't take it. What kind of strong person is that?
Yeah, well, exactly.
What kind of
it's
role
not
model?
funny. It's like, okay, like when I was in high school, I talked about this in a different video with a teacher that everyone would throw shit at and tell her to shut the fuck up. She'd go in the corner and cry. My friend put tacks in her coffee and shit. It's like that. See, that was the only teacher that the kids went all out on because there was no consequences for it. There was other teachers you don't fuck around in their classroom, and there has to be consequences. And the consequences, it all comes down, it has to be physical consequences as young as possible. Because if it's not physical, then what consequences are going to harm them?
No.
It's like, wait, you yell at them? That's not going to bother them.
They don't care.
Exactly. So it's like, kids need to get slapped.
Oh, yeah. I've been saying that for years, man. I'll slap them just for the hell of it.
Ain't no way y'all can start this.
Yeah, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm walking right out the door. I won't ever be back.
They're tired of dealing with the violence. They're tired of dealing with the apathy. They're tired of dealing with parents who are making excuses and fighting them all the way through the process.
And what appears...
And there you go, the parents again.
Yeah.
Parents are siding with the fucking kids being like that.
A mass exodus of educators is currently underway.
I quit teaching Gen Z, but apparently Gen Alpha is just as hard.
I've had a student throw chairs at me and shoes because I asked them to.
Because you let them.
Get their math book out and turn to the page that we were working on, but they didn't want to.
10 Lamar High School is investigating the disturbing...
That thing, another whiny ass teacher.
Yeah.
You gotta be strong. You can't be a fucking wimp and whiny bitch, you know? You gotta, even a guy can be a whiny bitch. I mean, you gotta, you know, you gotta be respected.
You gotta throw the chair first.
Yeah, or throw the chair back at her.
Yeah.
If that teacher would have took that chair and whipped it back, or took that shoe and
No
whipped it
kids
back,
in that class would have fucked around again.
No,
You know?
I guarantee it. Because they know they're gonna do something back. But no, they said, oh, they did this. They threw a shoe at me. Well, it's your fault.
Yeah, stop laughing at me.
Yeah.
that shows a student punching a teacher in the head today.
In this clip, a student gets in front of a teacher's face, demanding to get his phone.
Ooh.
Seconds later, he punches the teacher in the face.
20 years ago, you wouldn't hear the same types of things that you hear in a classroom today from students.
I've had to deal with second graders throwing chairs, punching walls, walking out of my classroom. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm no longer a teacher. I'm no longer an educator. I feel like I'm a glorified babysitter.
It's like a 5-alarm fire right now. Becky Pringle, president of the National Education Association, told CNN on the current teacher shortage affecting schools across the U.S. This is not new, but like everything else, the pandemic made it worse. Yeah. And that brings us to the fourth and final subject of who is to blame, an issue that no teacher, curriculum, or parent can fully address: COVID-19. It was only 4 years ago that schools began shutting their doors in the face of the burgeoning pandemic. Shortly after that, remote learning took over. However, it's only through hindsight we can see the devastating consequences this decision had when it came to Gen Alpha's and Gen Z's formative education.
Data from around the country is starting to show that middle and high school students are falling behind. This week, Fairfax County Public Schools in Virginia reported an 83% jump in middle and high schoolers earning Fs this year compared to last year.
What percent? 83%. That's almost everybody.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 kids failing their classes.
8% jump. Middle and high schoolers earning Fs this year compared to last year.
Sometimes it's really hard to just be motivated to actually get on the Zooms and to do the work, just because I feel like it doesn't even matter. It feels like we're not really learning.
In person, you could talk to your teacher and it would be way more easier to learn better.
National tests expose that during the pandemic, over 2 decades of progress in math and reading were completely erased. In 9-year-old school children and other age groups have shown similar post-pandemic declines.
If those numbers don't start going back up, what is at risk for this generation? Everything.
Unfortunately, the toll remote learning took on students persists to this day. And that means kids are stuck playing a never-ending game of catch-up when it comes to making up those lost years.
Those kids are not where the other kids were a couple of years ago. The gaps are widening. Those kids who were behind are even more behind.
Yep. It turns out a pandemic isn't something...
Like that one kid, that smart kid, summed it all up. There's no teacher to talk to if I have a question. You know, I mean... Yeah, this is crazy, man. I swear to God. I feel sorry for this. I feel sorry for these whole motherfuckers when they get older, man.
Kids can simply bounce back from unaffected.
For children, this pandemic is going to have a very, very long tail. It's not a light switch.
Yeah, it didn't kill that many kids.
Yeah.
I've seen a study on that. It didn't kill that many kids, and some kids got sick, but mine, they hit like fucks like me, you know? At least I'm not real fat, though.
For you and me.
Especially when it overlapped key developmental phases.
The oldest Gen Alpha are, 13? So the oldest children who went through the pandemic
in Gen Alpha were 10. A lot of them were younger. Their whole lives were upended. Of course they're behind on reading. Of course they're behind in social emotional growth. Of course they are acting younger than they are.
As for Gen Alpha and Gen Z screen time, according to research supported by the National Institutes of Health and published in the journal Pediatrics, that too never recovered from the pandemic and has instead remained high since restrictions were.
Like my one grandson was in high school, there was like no graduations, no parties, I mean, and them kids who went through, can you imagine going all the way through school and it comes time for your graduation, and you can't have a graduation, can't have a graduation party. That was a fucked thing for a lot of kids.
And when it comes to the effects of excessive screen time in children, listed by Mayo Clinic, including behavior problems, delays in language and social skills development, violence, and attention problems, it's not hard to connect this to the issues.
And they didn't highlight obesity. That was another thing, man. The kids just sat around and ate all the time too.
Yeah.
Currently plaguing
and they didn't eat anything good. I mean, they did.
And then when you eat junk like that, that affects your brain too.
Oh yeah.
Student bodies of various schools today. In fact, in 2022, over 80% of U.S. public schools reported that the pandemic had negatively impacted student behavior and socio-emotional development. On top of this, growing classroom sizes and a lack of support means these students are missing the extra attention they desperately need.
The worst part as a teacher is seeing these kids suffer and not being able to give them what they need. We can only do so much. We have 30 kids in a class, all with different needs and diagnoses, and we can't keep up. It's completely unsustainable.
Leaving members of the notoriously underpaid, understaffed, and undervalued profession to reconsider whether their calling is worth it.
This pandemic has exasperated and exposed so.
A lot of people are passionate about being a teacher. They just want to teach and give kids knowledge. And they want them to do good. And then after all going through this shit, they're just totally discouraged, man. They say, what's the fucking sense in it anymore?
Things that teachers are dealing with: the lack of resources, the lack of support, the lack of pay, the impossible expectations that we meet because we care so much about our students. And it's mentally and emotionally breaking us.
But is the fate of today's students as dire as it seems? Sure.
Then having weak teachers don't help either.
Yeah.
You have to have strong teachers.
Mounting concern online and
it's that thing that Rogan always says, the hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times.
Yep.
And you got a bunch of weak millennials raising the parents and teaching the parents, and that's creating hard times.
Yep.
Media isn't exactly reassuring.
Are we looking at a generation that is never going to recover?
Certainly it's a generation of students that have experienced something that none of us have experienced before.
And these are future leaders, our future doctors, our future nurses, our future... What? Please.
He's saying these kids are our future nurses and teachers and politicians.
He talked so fast I couldn't understand them.
And they can't be any of those things if they can't read. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they can't look away from a screen for more than 2 seconds.
This country to anarchy. I'm afraid of them.
But then again, this isn't the first time younger generations have become the subject of controversy. Previous generations have also separately carried the stigmas associated.
Are millennials socially impaired or just rude? And we are socially impaired a little bit. Don't blame... That doesn't say which generation it's about.
With disrespect, violence, and aimlessness. With Gen X even earning the title of the slacker generation. As a Washington Post article from 2014 on the apparent apathy in millennials stated, the problem with any claim regarding the future attitudes and behaviors of today's youth is that they are difficult to predict. And so, the question isn't who will destroy the world first, fourth graders or global warming, but whether Gen Alpha and Gen Z's negative qualities are unique to their generation or simply a byproduct of youth. The historic target for all that's wrong with the world.
Children are now tyrants, not the servants of their households. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up dainties at the table, cross their legs, and tyrannize their teachers. This is often misattributed to Socrates, by the way, but this is actually a summary of general complaints about the youth by the ancient.
And I know there's a lot of wuss teachers, but they had the right to run their classroom the way that they wanted and the way it should be run. I think that would be a better thing.
Well, that's
too.
what I'm saying. The hard times create strong men, which create good times. So they need someone to slap the shit out. Like the way you were raised, it sucked being slapped and hit with shit, but you didn't do that bullshit.
No,
you know.
No. In fact, I started working at age 16. My stepdad died, and I went to work to buy my half-sister's bicycles and shit like that. I got a GED down the road and stuff, but I ended up being a supervisor where I worked at. I turned out good.
Yeah, well, smooth seas don't make great sailors. You ever hear that quote before?
Yeah.
It's like that's the exact same concept. It's like you can't just let everybody get off easy and have them be emotionally okay so they experience no trauma. It's like, no, you need to smack the fuck out of them. They need to learn, oh shit, this is serious.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're not going to take anything seriously.
And to be honest, I could have turned out, see, if I would have started, it's a long story I won't get into now, but during my childhood, man, it was a fucked up time in my life. But I could have went the other way and became a criminal,
Well, people would look at you and say it didn't turn out okay, Jake. Every time you say, oh, I turned out okay, I'm picturing some like old, really proper person watching this and be like, you gotta be shitting me.
Because I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
I went to a Catholic school, so talk to the Catholics.
As written in a 1907 dissertation by a student, Kenneth John Freeman. Every generation thinks that the new generation is completely unhinged.
And that means there's still time for Gen Alpha and Gen Z to prove older generations wrong.
Okay, I kind of agree with that, but being rude is a lot different than not being able to read.
Exactly, yeah.
At least find a way to make use of their unique skill sets.
I'm a teacher and I see growth gaps everywhere. Some kids can't read, some kids can't write a sentence. However, I believe every single student will be successful, especially if they choose marketing in this generation. All because of this video.
I shot 50% off Domino's Pizza because I'm new here and I don't want to get fired yet. So please don't let this video flop. All right, listen.
Like, I know we teach our kids to write in, like, complete sentences and write without using, like, PLS for please. However, this commercial just proved all of us wrong.
I've seen the list. I think you might have been watching with me earlier today, but they had like 10 words, and like they asked the kids to spell the words,
Oh, yeah.
And like that one kid wrote comments for commitment, and the other one, I mean, some of the shit you couldn't even understand what they were trying to
it was like they're all dyslexic.
Yeah. 10 ordinary English words, and they couldn't do it.
Gaps in their education, their violent outbursts, and their unrestricted screen time they have attributed to everything from lax parenting to the school system and pandemic.
That one teacher even walked like he's gay as fuck.
Yeah.
How's somebody going to respect the little fucking sissy fuck as your teacher?
It's not funny.
Okay, you guys, turn the page to page 22, please.
Don't laugh at me.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to respect the strong individual, whether you're male or female. You're going to, you can't respect.
They have to fear you.
Yeah, they're not going to respect some sissy fuck, man. Fucking little faggot. They're going to just say, oh, look at the little faggot. Fuck him. They're going to say that.
Yeah.
They probably did.
That remains
They probably called him a faggot and hurt his feelings. We got
a cause for concern. However, when it comes to whether the young people of today are doomed,
what would have happened in your school if you called the teacher a faggot?
Ooh.
Ooh.
If you got shit beat out of you by who it was. Then you got punished, Then you had to stay after school, and write on the board. I do that right on the board. No, you had to fill up the whole blackboard. I will not act up in class. You fill the whole blackboard and you think you're going to go erase it. So you erase it, get ready to go. Okay, now do it again. I will not talk in class. You'd be there 45 fucking minutes writing this shit on. I didn't do it anymore, man.
You learned how to write fast, too.
Yeah.
It's safe to say.
You would send one of these motherfuckers back in time for like 3 months, man. You wouldn't believe. Took all their shit away, their tablets and their phones, and just make them live in that era for like 3 months. It'd be a totally different fucking person. I guarantee it.
That's too early to call. The priorities of today's youth just aren't the same.
Like, people are like, yo, you're that kid from TikTok. I'm like, yes, sir, I am. I'm like, let me cook, cuzzo.
And while their polarizing
Cuzzo
interests, attitude...
That must be another word for cuz. You know, cuzzo. Hey, cuzzo. You know, instead of saying cuz. Kind of figured that one out.
You're full smart.
I'm smart, man. That was more than obvious.
And behaviors may all just come down to a phase in adolescence.
Apparently there is a generation Alpha.
Yep.
You have to be like, what?
10?
9 years old, 10 years old? At most?
That doesn't change the fact that educators are currently shouldering this burden.
All I know is that teachers are human beings, and a lot of times people forget that.
While other factors continually make their jobs more difficult.
Sure, it may be easier to put a kid in front of a screen, but is it really helping them in the long run?
Are you saying schools were just graduating kids who didn't fundamentally know how to read?
Yeah, it's happened all across the country.
And it was back when I was growing up. If you didn't pass, if you didn't have the grades, you didn't pass. You'd have to take that year over again. And you talk about being fucking embarrassed, man. You know, I mean, I never had to do it, but I knew a couple of kids that had to do that. And have to go through the 9th grade or 10th grade all over again. And yeah, you do good the next time.
You know, I love teaching.
It's a shame of people making fun. Oh, look at that dumbass, blah, 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 you know. You get a thick skin, too.
I love watching the kids grow and learn. But if I can't do my job, then what am I doing?
You can call it an old folks complaining about young folks thing. Why are you demonizing millennial parents? Why are you demonizing Gen Alpha kids? Or you can step back and look at it from our perspective and say, gee, I wonder why there's so many people talking about the same thing.
This is the story of the students of today, including the challenges they present.
Yeah, I think it's both.
What a hard lesson to learn, man, you know? Jesus.
I think it's weak parents are going to make weak, crazy kids.
Yeah.
Same with teachers, too. Weak teachers. You have to start hitting these
that
kids.
Guy, that faggot fucker, he should have just went up there. Well, he didn't have the voice to scream loud at him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, stop. I mean, you gotta get up there, hey, quit that shit. No, God damn it, open your goddamn books.
Well, that probably wouldn't even work with these kids. You have to just smack them across the head. You don't even need to yell.
I'd rather do
just
that
keep
first.
a straight face, whack.
Yep.
No, that's the end of it.
Because that's never happened to them.
Exactly. They've never faced physical consequences, and that's the only way you're going to learn. You know? Like, it wasn't my dad's voice that was so scared of it. I know that voice, you know, shit could get physical.
Yes.
You know? You can yell at me all you want. That's not going to scare someone unless they think something's going to hurt them.
Right. You know, they just blow it all off if you talk to them.
Right.
Know? You get smacked, you pay attention. That's why I always talk a lot of our fucking videos. I fucking smack, you know, hit them, fucking smack them. I don't believe in just taking your fist and beating the fuck out of a kid, you know. But smack the shit out of them. Yeah. Well, once in a while, maybe. If I didn't like them, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, all joking aside, man, they need a good fucking smack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then parents do that. And then the kid goes to school, my mom abused me. So then, you know, there goes your rights as a parent's gone out the window. So then who's to blame? It's the legal system, too.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's all like, it's like it's all structured to breed psychopaths.
Yes.
You know?
It is. The way it is set up now, yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I want to anybody because there's no consequences. And if there is any consequences, you're in the wrong.
Well, I mean, look at most of these school shooters are young people.
Yeah.
All these people that do these school shootings. I mean, there's been a couple there was one old man I remember, and some, people in their 20s, but most of them are young people doing it, man. Young people. That's a problem.
And then having kids on all these psych meds doesn't help either.
No.
Just because, I have a hard time paying attention. Oh, well, here's something that'll rewire your brain and fucking...
Well, that didn't happen back. I mean, once in a while you'd have a retarded kid might have been on meds, but I didn't even remember that. And, and...
That's because you pay attention a lot better after you've been smacked and told to pay attention. You're going to get smacked again,
Yes, exactly.
That rewires your brain perfectly. It only takes 1 or 2 times,
I don't know. It'd be fun 4 or 5. But it's a fair on the whole system, including the teachers, parents. I mean, I'm not saying all teachers, weak teachers.
Yeah.
Parents, the system, even the legal system, You lost the right to discipline your kids back then. That's like when
my
did
daughter that happen?
Well, my daughter, when my younger grandson, when Joey was in school, God damn, I'm trying to remember, like back in the 90s. I'm saying back in the 90s. And cause that's when, like my grandson, there was some class he didn't like, and he'd go to school crying every day. Well, the teacher thought there was something wrong at home. She called Child Protective Service. My daughter called me hysterically crying. Dad, I don't know what to do. I said, what's up? What's going on? She said, I got a call from Child Protective Service. Joey's been going to school crying, and they think I'm beating him. I said, just relax, okay, relax. I said, you run a good house. You've got plenty of food for those kids. You got decent places for them to sleep. I said, your house is immaculate. I said, you make good dinners and good healthy foods for them. I said, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Dad, would you please come? I said, I'll come over right now. Just tell me when they're coming. So they came, and I stayed there with her. She passed with flying colors, man, But it was the fucking teacher's fault. It didn't even bother to talk to Joey or send him to a counselor or send somebody to talk to my daughter. Automatically called Child Protective Services.
Yeah, well, my second grade teacher did that of my dad. Called that on my dad. Just because I just made a joke. They were talking about the talent show and having kids dressed with their pants sagging and the hat backwards.
Oh, yeah.
I said to the kid next to me, I was like, my dad would shoot me if I dressed like that. And the teacher's like, your dad pointed a gun at you?
Oh,
I was like, no, I didn't say that. I was just making a joke. And she's like, your dad pointed a gun at you? The whole class was like, that's not what he said. And she ran out of the classroom, and they called the cops on my dad and shit. My dad didn't feed me dinner for like a week.